So I need you to flip the script in your head from victim to empowerment, from scarcity to abundance. And this is how we're going to do it. And it starts with the first step of awareness. Okay, ready? What's going on, everybody? Today, we are going to talk about financial bullying. What could possibly be financial bullying? Well, awareness is the biggest piece. So I'm going to relate this to kind of how we handle children in terms of the fact that our schooling system actually has these things set up to where, like, if from sexual predators and things of that nature, like, hey, here's the typical signs. And so what it does is it increases the awareness of children. Like, it's probably going to be somebody you know who tries to be someone who violate you sexually, or it's going to be someone who says, let's just keep it our little secret and don't tell anyone. Like, there is a protocol that when somebody is going to do something not good from a sexual perspective with a child, there's like a protocol. The exact same thing is true when it comes to financial bullying, and it shows us that you are not actually in your financial power. So today in this video, what I want to do is I want to actually give you some of those things that I have seen over time, because we are all moving into this place where we want to move into our financial empowerment. And so how do we do that? Well, we have to recognize the bully. We have to recognize, and this is not about the bully. I want to make this super clear. This is not about the bully. This is actually about you recognizing that there's bullying going on, or another word for that would be like financial entrainment, that someone else is trying to get you to behave the way they want you to behave with your money, as opposed to you actually choosing how you want to behave with your money and then have it be that. Does that make sense? And by all means, if you have questions or concerns, type them in here, because I have been exposed to this stuff for a long time being a certified financial planner. And it's time for you, if you're in a situation where there's financial bullying or financial entrainment, it's time for you to actually shift what's going on inside of you that is bringing on the bullying and bringing on the entrainment, because it's the way you're plugging into the world that's actually creating that reality. And those bullies are just coming into your life for you to practice stepping into your power. And that is the gift of the bully, the gift of the person who's trying to entrain you. And when you can start to change your paradigm and change the way you shift and look at it, that, oh, I'm getting this exact same thing again in my life. It's not, oh, woe is me being the victim. It's, oh, I'm calling in another experience for myself to have practice of holding the container of my own personal financial empowerment. Okay? So I need you to flip the script in your head from victim to empowerment, from scarcity to abundance. And this is how we're going to do it. And it starts with the first step of awareness. Okay, ready? So the first, if you have somebody that like threatens you, they're like, well, if you do that, but, and you're going to pay a consequence. Well, that's when you just got to take a step back and kind of go, well, that person's trying to get me into a fear-based state. And in that fear-based state, normally I would have done this. And well, I don't want to do that any longer. I'm actually going to step more into my financial empowerment. And so even though standing up to that person, it could be a parent, it could be a spouse, it could even be your children, it could be a sibling, it could be your employer, it could be in any of those relationships where you're not stepping into your financial empowerment. Okay? So one, you see a threat. Right then and there, you know you are personally participating in bullying from a financial standpoint, and you're being entrained by somebody else. So they're threatening you. Number two, I wrote down here, is they'll say things like, oh, that's just stupid, or they just try to discredit you in some way. They try to tell you that your ideas aren't okay, and then you try to keep the peace, and you try to like make it normalize, and you try to people please, and you try to fix it. That never fixes it. I'm telling you, you are growing a beast. It's time for the beast to be released. Does that make sense? So when you're participating in financial bullying, then an entrainment from other people, if somebody is saying those words to you, like, I can't believe what comes out of some people's employers' mouths. So you're going, and why would you ever put up with a boss that does that? Well, we do it for our paycheck. We do it because, okay, if I could just get through this and then I'm going to get to the next layer. I guarantee you, if that's going on in your employer world, that's probably going on in your personal world as well. Because one thing I learned in the 2008, 2009 downturn of the markets, that companies are cultures. Meaning that if you're somebody who has a challenge with debt, you're being entrained by everybody else around you if the company is fiscally dysfunctional. So I watched companies like General Motors actually wind up declaring bankruptcy. And I had people that I met along the way that worked for these companies in senior management. And guess what? They were personally just as fiscally screwed up as the company was, like on the verge of bankruptcy. So companies have cultures. So if you're in a culture where you've got a boss that's saying something to you like, that's a stupid idea, that's not good, guess what? That's going to run down into your money because that's another way of entrainment. That's another way of bullying. And then you're not going to get the pay raises you want. You're not going to get the bonuses you want. You're not going to get the promotions you want. And this is how it all leaks through to our money. All right. So the third thing is, they tell you like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right? They try to discredit you. Right? And again, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. And they're threatening you. These are all signs that I've seen through the years of how you're choosing to participate in financial bullying. Okay? The fourth one I wrote down here is they have a better way to do it. And they're constantly push. There's push, 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 push. All this push energy to get you to this next place and where they want you to be. And you're sitting there going, I don't want this anymore. I'm done with the push. I'm not going to keep trying to do something that keeps making me miserable. These are all your tell signs. Because remember, I always say we work things out and we act it out, and we do it through our money, through our health, or through our relationships. And when we're trying to push and get our agenda set, or somebody else is trying to get their agenda set, do me a favor. Take a step back and just kind of go, okay, well, I obviously need to finish a project at work, but I don't necessarily need to participate in all the other antics, right? And maybe what you do to start to shift your energy to more of a place of empowerment is go, maybe it's time for me to update my LinkedIn profile. And maybe it's time for me to take a look at what I have out on my resume and redo my resume, because that is you shifting your energy to a place of empowerment as opposed to someone who's trying to push their agenda on you and what they want to get done out of you as opposed to what you actually really truly want. Make sense? Now, here's the thing. You may have had relationships with even someone in the finance industry. It's funny. I go to networking events and I see people and all they're saying is like, they go, who are you? And what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a financial planner. And they go, oh, and then they like walk the other way. Why? Because there's so many people been in my industry who've been super pushy in trying to sell the products that they want to sell. And then people wound up in financial products, insurance in particular, that in hindsight, they've wound up with a spending hangover because they didn't actually really get the right thing that was sold to them, right? That to fill their objectives. So look at what kind of relationships that you have. If you work with a financial professional, if they're pushy, guess what? That's not necessarily somebody that's on your side, right? They're out for their agenda, not your agenda. And I want you to start stepping into your empowerment, start aligning the financial products that you have with whatever your purpose and your desires are in life, because there's no wrong way. There may be an efficient financial way to do something, but that also has to match your emotional makeup too. You need that balance between the financial and the emotional and find that sweet spot in the middle. So come join me at juliemurphy.com because we have lots to share, and we're going to keep giving you tips and tools of how to get to this place because you've worked so hard. You've gotten exactly where it is that you're at today, but it's not exactly the life you want to create, and we're going to get you there. Talk to you soon. Bye.